Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pretty hot story right now going on, but I wanted to talk about this for reasons that maybe people don't see. Maybe you guys know who this person is. I mean, I'm familiar with him just because I'm just an NBA fan. I wasn't familiar with him in his college or high school career, but he's definitely the epitome of, you work hard, you play hard, all that kind of good stuff. But this is actually going to come into question when it comes to his character. Okay. So before we get into the details, let me warn you, I'm probably not going to use any bad language, but I do want to say that this video is still intended for mature audiences. And let me give you a disclaimer, and then I'll tell you what he's accused of doing. Let's go.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
And I'm getting this story from nypost.com. So thank you, New York Post. Let's talk about Mr. Patrick Beverley here for a second. So, former NBA player, because he just stopped playing in the NBA, what, last year, the year before last? Former NBA player and Barstool Sports podcast host Patrick Beverley, November the 14th, was arrested over accusations that he punched and choked his sister in an ugly incident. According to court documents viewed by the Post, Beverly's sister, who's 15 years of age, so this does involve a child, and this does involve me speaking about this because I'm a parent and I think I have some good information about this. 15 years old, his sister's 15 years old, claimed that she left her Fort Bend house without permission to see her boyfriend, who's 18 years old. So it's a 3-year difference. When she returned, her mother and Patrick Beverley confronted her, with the 37-year-old Patrick Beverley allegedly grabbing her by the neck with both hands. This is according to her words. Grabbed her by the neck with both hands and picked her up off the ground by having her feet come up from the floor. That's a hell of a accusation. That is a hell of a accusation. She claims that the 6'2" tall ex NBAer squeezed her neck, causing her to feel pain for about 20 to 30 seconds, leaving her to feel that she was losing oxygen and unable to breathe. And of course, they put his mugshot out there. I'm not going to necessarily do that. He allegedly then took her out of the room by her neck, laid her on a couch, and punched her approximately one time in her left eye with a closed fist, purportedly adding that he will be the family relative to kill her, allegedly. The boyfriend was asked to leave the house and was followed by Beverly. Now you would have thought when I first heard about this, you would have thought that he had did this to the boyfriend, right? Not to his sister. Just I don't know. I don't like. I thought he left a statement somewhere. Yes, he did. He went on to social media claiming, "Please don't believe everything you see on the internet. Hope all is well. Love." I thought no, but that wasn't the statement that I thought I saw. I thought I saw him write something else, like along the lines of he was trying to protect his sister. But whatever, that'll come out at a later point, I guess. He was taken into Fort Bend County Jail on a third-degree assault charge and was bonded out for $40,000. Later that day, Beverly took to social media to seemingly respond to the news of the incident. And again, what I said, please don't believe everything you see on the internet. Hope all is well. He further attempted to clarify the situation with a follow-up post. This is what y'all want to hear. Check this out. Patrick Beverley has no criminal record. A post to his social media accounts on November 14th reads, he cares deeply about his little sister, a young lady, a minor, given that when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with an 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned, as any brother would be, about his sister. However, we don't believe what followed happened the way it's been described, and we look forward to the opportunity to address that in court. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, now that seems like it might make a little more sense. But I got more that I want to add to that. A third-degree felony in Texas carries a punishment minimum 2 years, maximum 10 years in prison if convicted. I understand that the affidavit contains some negative details. However, remember that this is only one side of the story. And given time when emotions are high, Letitia Keonis Hollins, the attorney for Beverly, said in a statement to provide to the Post. As I've said before, we don't believe that the description in the affidavit is accurate, nor is it complete. Patrick is not a violent man and was not violent that night. In fact, he was very respectful with the authorities that night and encouraged others to do the same. He is the provider and protector of his family, including his little sister and mom. He always looked out for their well-being and will continue to do so. I have every expectation that when all the facts come in, Patrick will be cleared of these charges. Until then, all I can ask is for everybody to keep an open mind and not rush to judgment. Please remember, this is America, and in our society, Patrick is innocent unless proven guilty, otherwise in the court of law. Last time he played in the NBA was 23 to 24 season, splitting 73 games between the 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks. He spent the 24-25 season with the Hapoel Tel Aviv, the Israeli Basketball Premier League, though he was suspended in February and later parted ways with the team. Let me say this, because there is a YouTuber that I saw do a video on this, and I thought he concentrated way too much on Patrick Beverley's behavior and demeanor on the basketball court in the negative, in the negative moments that he had on the basketball court. And I think that is wrong to insinuate that, wrong to do that. And maybe I will post that post, maybe send it to him and let that person know that wrote it. Like, I get what their point is, but you cannot say what a person does for their career, like a football player, like a basketball player, aggression, or whatever you want to call it, that makes it to where this is who this person is off the court as well. Like, they can't compartmentalize. These are professionals, and you're expecting them to be able to compartmentalize, right? Like, I can behave this way on the court and behave a different way at home and even be in the midst of a tense situation and still purport myself correctly when it comes to dealing with a stressful situation. I think that Patrick Beverley not only has been through a lot, but he's smart enough to know the difference. And on top of that, he has a lot going on for him, whether it be a basketball career, a podcast career, a commentator, whatever it is. He's not no damn dummy. And he's not going to F up his bag, especially when all the people around him depend on the money that he is earning, right? So if he knows that, and people who have that level of responsibility on their shoulders, I think that they're smart enough to be able to compartmentalize that and be like, hey, look, I'm not about to mess up my money, but I'm going to make a point here, okay? I thought that sounded really, really outlandish, him picking this young woman up off the ground by the throat, choking her for 20 to 30 seconds. That alone sounded outlandish, okay? But on top of that, I think it's a very dangerous thing to do that, because now you have to also think about the persona that other people have, whether it be in WWF, WWE, wrestling, whether it be basketball, whether it be football, whether it be hockey. What exactly are you insinuating, that these professional athletes can't control their emotions and this is who they are all the time? I think that's a very, very bad thing to say to that particular YouTuber. I watch him all the time. I don't know if I want to call his name out. If I do, maybe I'll just put it a little a little thing on top of the video or something like that. But I just think you got to be careful doing that, because then you're going to be castigating so many people who do this merely as a career. Let me give you guys the fair usage, and then we will go from there. Only got one news video. Let's go.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
If y'all would do me a favor and hit that thumbs up, share this video. I'll probably post it pretty early. I just want to see what people think about it. Maybe I'm right about this. Maybe I'm spot on. Maybe I'm not. But let me know what you think.
Well, a former Houston Rockets player is speaking out tonight after his arrest in Fort Bend County. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Daniela Guzman. Keith Garvin is off. Patrick Beverley was arrested at his home early this morning. He's charged with assault, family violence involving a household member. KPRC2 News reporter Corley Peel joining us now live about why Beverley's attorney says his arrest is a big misunderstanding.
Daniela, Patrick Beverley's attorney sent us a statement saying that he was defending his little sister at the time of that incident. Beverley is also cautioning the public about these allegations. Hours after bonding out of jail, Patrick Beverley posted on X saying, "Please don't believe everything you see on the internet. Hope all is well. Love." Fort Bend County deputies showed up to the former Rockets player's home before 4 a.m. Deputies say a situation transpired between family members, leading to a family violence incident. He was arrested and later made his $40,000 bond. Details about the crime are not clear. Beverley's attorney released a statement saying in part, he cares deeply about his little sister, a young lady, a minor, given that when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with an 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned as any brother would be about his sister. However, we don't believe what followed happened the way it's been described, and we look forward to the opportunity to address that in court. And Beverley's attorney adds that he does not have a criminal record. This is an ongoing investigation, and we will keep you updated. Reporting live, Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
Let me address it like this. To hear this situation and to hear what allegedly was going on with an 18-year-old man and a 15-year-old girl, I would think that it would make more sense if the choking and punching happened. And I'm not advocating for violence, because that's going to always get you in trouble. So you have to be willing to take that risk. And some people like him got way more to lose than others, right? But you would think that that would happen to this alleged boyfriend. Like if my daughter or my sister were caught up with an 18-year-old, and I get involved, I'm probably going to interact. 95% of my interaction is going to probably be with that 18-year-old, whatever that is, okay? But again, here's another thing that I learned about being at a camp and being a counselor and all of that kind of good stuff. If you feel like something happened that was illegal and it was wrong, then you should be calling the police immediately, filing charges for statutory, whatever you want to call it, if it falls within the parameters of that law. That's just what you got to do. You're a professional, bro. This ain't the damn streets. This ain't the south side of Chicago and you back in the hood at 12 and 13 years old. You're a grown-ass man. You like my damn age. There's a way that we have to go about handling these things to keep ourselves out of legal trouble, because we are the breadwinners. We are the providers. We are the fathers. We are the leaders and the examples, right? If that were the case, I would assume that he probably had some harsh words. Maybe there was some type of contact, but the way that they described it, that just even with his court behavior, I don't think that translates to this. and not his baby sister, not somebody he loves and wants to protect and provide for, right? That just doesn't make any sense to me. But on top of that, you don't ever want to handle these situations in a physical manner unless you're defending yourself, physically defending yourself against an attack. And these two people don't sound like they were attacking him based on what we've heard so far. So at that point, you got to use your words, and that's just the end of it. So I think that more than likely, if this is the Patrick Beverley that I know, that I've watched, and I think that he can compartmentalize the professional, I think that this is probably going to get tossed out. I don't see this holding any legs at all, but we'll see how it plays out and just kind of go from there. But I think this should serve as a lesson to him, to other players, whatever you got going on, to everybody, to make sure to use your mind when it comes to being a parent. Y'all know I am a staunch person. I don't believe in physically disciplining children. If you shouldn't spank 2-year-olds, shouldn't spank 15-year-olds. Keep your hands, feet, and other objects to yourself. And if you do that, it keeps you out of a lot of stuff, and it sets a much better example, okay? So shout out to Patrick Beverley. I hope that he gets this resolved pretty quick and we can get some real answers and then just kind of go from there. So if I'm wrong about this, then I'll be wrong and I'll admit that. But I don't think I am. I think it'll be proven in court. But yeah, like I say, just be careful to that YouTuber. Be careful about throwing that level of castigation on a person, what they do in their professional career and what they do when they step off of that court. That's a real dangerous thing to do. All right. But I don't think he should lose his video or be demonetized or nothing like that. I just think that you have to be careful about the narrative that you're putting out there. Okay. Because that could be dangerous and that could be harmful to not only so many other professionals, but definitely to men. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart. From my heart to yours. I love you guys. AFC, Advocates for Children. We advocate for children first. We'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.